it is necessary to purge the
What
establishment.
she's suggesting that churches do, a focus on
That's not necessarily a good thing to start
Yeah,
with.
they're stating
It
it
wasn't around when we needed the greatest generation of the 30s or 40s or
to happen before the election because there are too many Republicans that are afraid that their wrongdoings are going to.
It's unacceptable, and I'm not going to sit here, stay silent, and not call it out. I'm calling out their lies.
Do they think that we are so stupid that we will not notice and find out?
It's Monday. It's 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and you're with your boy, Keith 2 Cent Sanders. I'm live right now on the TikTok, but you guys are going to get a little sneak peek, I need you to run over to the YouTube. We're live right now on YouTube. I just need you guys to take a look for, here's my 2 cents on YouTube. Take a look for my symbol. You guys know where it's at. It looks just like this. I love you all. I was gone. I left you. You missed me. I missed you. You probably missed me a little more than I missed you, but I missed you. I missed you so much. When I was out away from all of this, I put my phone down. It was beautiful. I highly recommend you do it. It's wonderful. You're going to love it. We put the phone down for a little while. I was present. I was with my family. That's one of the things we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about something called life after COVID. It's out there, folks. I've been having a pretty good sampling of it living down here in Florida, where we have this thing called freedom, and we have a governor who understands that he's here to protect rights, not to grant rights. So it's been absolutely glorious, wonderful, all the great things that's been here in Florida. But what we did when we got away this past week was, it was just life. It was really cool. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Obviously, we have to talk about Russia. We have to talk about what's going on in Ukraine. I think you guys are going to like my take on that portion. If you're over here on TikTok, remember, you get a sneak peek. I need you to go over to YouTube. Here's my 2 cents. You're going to get the full show over there. And of course, we have to talk about that damn laptop. Now, let's go in the Wayback Machine, as I like to call it. We all knew, and I'm hot. So, Juan, can I get 2? Can I get 2 tonight? Can I have 2 swears tonight, Juan? Juan says 5 swears. Juan said 5 swears. I have it marked down. I'm recording my screen. He said 5 swears. It's going to get live tonight. It's going to get lit AF. Let's go back to October of 2020. All of a sudden, boom, laptop. This is what's known as the October surprise. Go back to October of 2016. What came out then? I won't say the word because I want to save my my swear. When you had the Billy Bush conversation with Trump on a bus, where Trump didn't realize he was being recorded, and he said, you can grab him by the kitty cat. Right? Wink, 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 wink. Grab them by the kitty cat. If you all are over here, you'd be giving me likes or you'd be giving me gifts, because y'all need to run over to the YouTube. Look for here's my 2 cents. Find me over there. October surprise. It always happens under when Trump ran and won in 16. The whole thing was the grab him by the kitty cat. That's the one they held that. They had that. Of course, NBC had that at the time. They probably had it a year earlier. They had it queued up, ready to go, and they were waiting to unleash it in October. Why? Because you put that other side, and of course, the Republicans are the other side to the mainstream media. You put the other side on the defensive in a very short amount of time to do any sort of damage control. If you were to do it in, say, January of that year, people would have forgotten it by the time it comes time to actually vote. And of course, that's what they're relying on, or hoping to rely on, when it comes to their COVID restrictions, which they are recently starting to get rid of. They want people to forget that they masked your children while they were unmasked, while they attended events and kept your children masked and shut down your business and the like. They want you to forget about that. So if they have released this too soon, people forget about it. You're getting a little bit longer. I want you over on the YouTube. Here's my 2 cents. This was the October surprise of 2020, the laptop. The laptop came out, New York Post, oldest newspaper in the country, I believe, and they get absolutely shut down on every front. It was a coordinated effort by the media, the objective, hard-hitting journalists such as Brian Stelter and Jake Tapper and every talking head on CBS, NBC, MSNBC, you name it, all in concert telling us that this is Russian disinformation. This is just Russian disinformation. We know, because we've had 50 former Intel people telling us, James Clapper, who's lied under oath, and I don't know, I have any idea how this guy isn't in jail, prison for that. We had 50 former Intel officials tell us that this is Russian disinformation. Don't look over here. Believe me, not your lying eyes and ears. As many as you want, says Skyworks. I'm not sure as many as I want to what, but come on over. I love all of you. They told us this was absolutely disinformation. Thank you for coming over, Kristen. I love you. Tell your friends all about it. Give us a subscribe. I'm hot tonight, folks. We're going, we're rocking and rolling. This is so infuriating because it shows on many, many levels how the media has been and continues to be the propaganda arm of the Democrats. They are absolutely there to push the Democrats. And I want to know, if you guys are sticking around here, you get a free show. I want to see you over on the YouTube. Look for Here's My 2 cents over there. Here's My 2 cents. The way that the media pushes the Democrats all the time, and they're wrong in one direction. They're always wrong in one direction. Why? This is my first one. I get 2 tonight. This shit doesn't work. Your stuff doesn't work. It's not working on any front. We're laughing stocks out of Afghanistan the way that we pulled out. And you can keep saying, we had to pull out. We had to pull out. I'll concede that. I will concede that. It's how we pulled out. And that's what we want to talk about. Thanks for Bonsai Guy for coming over here. Wouldn't be all of 2 cents without the swears. Listen, I have a very good friend whose call sign is Bonsai. So that's super cool. Love to see you here from TikTok. We're laughing stocks with the way that they approach coming out of Afghanistan. Your stuff doesn't work there. I already got my SH word in there. Your stuff doesn't work. The economy is absolutely failing, and it's not because of Trump. It's because you keep pumping money, which goes right into inflation, which is, again, your guy, your policy. You have the executive branch. You have the entirety of the legislative branch. This is you. You have done this. Your stuff isn't working. Jobs, it isn't working because you're paying people, or you were paying people to stay home. Gas prices, because you ended leases on federal land and you said, I will not end fracking during your campaign, period. What you meant was a comma. I will not end fracking, comma, unless I can absolutely do it by myself. That's what you meant. That's what you did. I hope Pennsylvania remembers that when it comes time again, because I think Pennsylvania got duped into this. I see a clappy hands from Ashley. I love seeing you over here. So let's recap here a little bit. The way that we are in the world stage, I'm not even talking about Ukraine yet. Afghanistan was an absolute debacle. Oh, the border, we haven't touched the border yet. They're just flooding in here. Nobody's talking about that. And remember, I'm just talking about what doesn't work. And I don't understand why the media has to continue to push what doesn't work. Guys, if you're over here, I can't take I got to decline you, buddy. Come on over to the YouTube. Here's my 2 cents. I'll converse with you over there. You're getting a little bit longer over here. Come on over to the YouTube. You suck on the border. You suck on Afghanistan. You suck on the economy. You suck at any sort of unity because you call us Neanderthals and backwards thinkers and all kinds of stupid names. We're also domestic terrorists, people who look like me, veteran types and the like. We're domestic terrorists. We're the #1 threat to the country. This is what you're doing. And your stuff doesn't work. So why does the media have to continue to push the propaganda of the liberals, of the Democrats? I really want to know. At just some point, I mean, they're kind of starting to become self-aware. They're kind of starting to show maybe this doesn't really work that well, and maybe that doesn't really work that well. But just become fully aware and go, all right, folks, this ain't working. This ain't working. This ain't working. This ain't working. And this is how it's affecting us Americans. Or you can continue to run propaganda. And let's go back to the beginning, much like the October surprise of the Biden laptop. Remember, this was Russian disinformation. 50 Intel officials, former, told us that they signed it. They signed a letter. Look how real this is. It's been debunked. You don't need to listen to don't believe your lying eyes and ears. Believe us. James Clapper said it. He's only lied under oath to the Senate. It's not like he would lie now. Let me tell you, folks, and you guys over here getting a free show, come on over to the YouTube. It's a lot more fun over there. I'm going to kick you off here in a minute. Here's my 2 cents on YouTube. Here's my 2 cents. For those that don't or have never worked in the classified arena, I don't care if you're a former Intel official. If you're a former Intel official, that means you're not currently read into anything, which means you don't have any information. So one of 2 things was happening there. Either you had information and you were illegally telling people when you signed this letter, or you didn't have the information and you were just using, I used to be in the Intel community, therefore listen to me. I really need you all to understand this. You either have the information or you don't. Being former, I'm going to let you know a little secret, means you don't. You don't have the information. But the media knows that the common person working in a common job, they're taking advantage of their ignorance. And folks, I'm not saying stupidity. I'm saying ignorance. There's a ton of stuff I don't know. I don't know stuff about farming. I don't know stuff about agriculture, which is just like farming. This is how ignorant I am. We're all ignorant to things. And that doesn't mean stupidity. It means we are just ignorant. We just don't know. And the media preys upon this. So they throw things out there like 50 former Intel officials have all signed a letter debunking this. Do you have the info or you don't have the info? Have you seen the information or you haven't? If you're former, it means you haven't. And if you're former and you're still somehow read on and you're talking about it on the news, you need to go to prison because you're breaking a lot of documents that you've signed and you're breaking a lot of federal laws. Am I wrong, Juan? You're a guy who used to have a clearance. Am I right, buddy? You either got, he's telling us right now, you either have the information or you don't. And if you're former, it means you don't. I'm kind of digesting here, but it was what was used to give legitimacy to the argument that was. I'm not really digesting here. It really was. It was the cornerstone of this is Russian disinformation. This is Russian disinformation. Don't listen to it. It's been debunked. You guys are getting a free show, but I do love you. Come on over to the YouTube. Come on over. Here's my 2 cents on YouTube. Here's my 2 cents. I'm going to kick you off here in a minute. So they make it go away. That wasn't enough to make it go away. Social media gets involved. I'd love to be on these calls or however it is. Is it hive mind? They just send the message out and it goes out to everybody. How does the message get out that everyone knows what they're supposed to do? Twitter bans the New York Post, the oldest newspaper we have in the country. Do they run everything that's perfect? No, nobody does. However, you banned a story. You banned a story. If you wrote DMs to somebody directly in Twitter, which means I just wrote directly to you and nobody else could see it, your account's gone. Your account was gone for writing a message. This is why I think social media needs to be a utility. And let me follow me here. You guys are getting some really good stuff. Social media needs to be a utility because if I call Juan and I say, hey, Juan, let's knock over the liquor store down the street. And then we go knock over the liquor store down the street. AT&T's not on the hook. AT&T's not in trouble because I used AT&T to call him and say, let's go, commit a crime, which I would never do. This is a hypothetical. Don't take me down. If my FBI agent is watching, I'm not really going to do that. Juan might, but not me. But anyway, AT&T is not on the hook. This is why social media needs to be a utility because then people can talk to each other and say things like, hey man, I heard this or I heard that. What do you think? Let's talk to each other. Let's share ideas. Thank you, Prue. I appreciate you being here. But social media has interpreted Section 230 to say, I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to get rid of that, which is actually the exact opposite of what Section 230 was supposed to be. It meant you are not a publisher because you're not going to get rid of certain things, and anything that is published on your platform is not your responsibility. But of course, they twist and contort that, and now we have a situation where they're banning people. Media said, look at this over here. We've debunked it. Social media gets in there and cuts out anyone talking about it at all. Cut them off. Cut them off at the knees. If you had a direct conversation with somebody, as I've already said, they would take you down. There's been polls that show that 1 out of 6 people who voted for Biden said they would not have voted for Biden had they been. Thanks for coming over, Paulina. I really appreciate you being here. Tell your friends about it. They have said, I would not have voted for Biden if I knew about this laptop and what was on it. It affected the election. So when people are screaming they stole the election, and I'm not saying widespread voter fraud, don't take me down, YouTube. I pledge my allegiance, no widespread voter fraud. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is people go, the media was colluding with the Democrats. Social media was colluding with the Democrats. I have very smart followers who read Time, and it said a secret cabal of very rich people ensured the election went a certain way. They look at these things and they say you all work together to affect the election. That's what they're talking about, folks. So stop saying they're wearing tinfoil hats. Every one of our conspiracy theories, I did air quotes, I owe myself a beer. We're up like 16-0 right now when it comes to conspiracy theorists. It's conspiracy theories. Well, I'm hot tonight. You guys get a free show, but come over to YouTube. Come over to YouTube. Here's my 2 cents. This guy says I'm a clown. He's absolutely correct. You need to put more clowns in there. I'm a lot dumber than you think. I really am. I don't know why anybody's here. I don't even listen to me. I record myself. I watch myself later. I don't even know why I listen to me. Woo! I took some time off, Juan. Can you tell? I took some time off. I am furious. I'm infuriated by the media's collusion to work with the Democrats. Gen X by Ink, I love you. Big fan of yours on the YouTube. Thank you for coming over here. I appreciate you being here. She is actually running for local election, I think it was, or was it that you're becoming a part of your local Republican Party? Either way, kudos to you, setting the example. All right, let's use that as a segue. Let's use that as the segue. Listen, I can yell and scream. You can yell and scream. They're doing it. They're doing it. They're doing it. Look, we know it. We know it. We know it. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? We can yell on Twitter. We can yell here. That actually is not a terrible thing. Let's get the message out. Let's make sure people know about this sort of stuff. Because like I said earlier, people didn't know about it. And had they known about it, they said, I wouldn't have voted for Biden if I knew about this. So the media is so good in concert with social media to keep people from getting certain types of information. We have to be out there to make sure that people do get the information. So keep speaking up. That is A level. Another thing is, like my friend Inked here, be involved. Get involved locally. Here's the next one. What am I going to say? Anybody that follows me on TikTok knows, vote. We're going to get out and vote this November, the midterms. Thank you, Cast Iron. I have nothing but energy. I don't have good points. I don't have intelligence. I'm losing my good looks, but I have lots and lots of energy. I had some coffee a little earlier. Hawks, these conspiracies are truth. Exactly. I love seeing you here. Thank you so much. You're from the Elsa Kurtz show, so that's cool. That's awesome. We're going to vote. We are going to vote. People then come at me and say, I can't trust the voting process. I think it's 19 states have passed, I think 26 laws, which the left and the media, which are one and the same, are calling voter restriction laws. Great. If you're saying it's voter restriction laws, that means it's voter integrity laws. It's easier to vote. It's harder to cheat. And they would not be complaining as much as they are if they didn't have teeth. And they have teeth. You're going to get out and vote. And you're going to go over to YouTube. Here's my 2 cents on YouTube. That's your last chance. Here's my 2 cents on YouTube. We're going to get out and vote. The voter integrity laws are there. You're going to go out and vote. Why? Because I don't care if Joseph R. Byron, Kamala Harris, Susan Rice, Obama himself is still running the executive branch. This is a beautiful thing about 3 separate but equal branches. We will have the legislative branch. We're going to get the House. We're going to get the Senate. And I don't care if we don't have the DOJ. I don't care what Byron is doing over there, having his oatmeal, having his ice cream, screwing up everything, blocking investigations. I don't care. Supposedly his DOJ is operating independent of him. Whatever. Don't care. We take back the House. We take back the Senate. We start investigating. Maybe we investigate a certain virologist who kept flip-flopping on certain topics, who said that a certain, and I can't say it because I'm on YouTube and the overlords will take me down, maybe that a certain medical, oh God, I hate dancing around this stuff. I really do. A certain ailment did or did not come from a facility in a country very far away from us that doesn't like us. And vote in person, says Wendy. I'll give you a better one. My good friend Victor says, take someone with you. Not only vote in person, take someone with you. We can get our investigation into somebody who flip-flopped on everything that's happened over the last 2 years. Somebody who said that a country in the Far East that doesn't like us didn't do any experiments on the stuff. Do an investigation on that. What did you know? When did you know it? We could take a look at this damn laptop. What did the 3-letter agency know? What didn't they know? Did they suppress information from getting out? Did they leak bad information? Who was giving information to these intel officials who wrote this and wrote that? We can get investigations into what's going on. Not to mention, we can also stop the uber left socialist agenda that happens from Joseph R. Byron in the executive branch. Woo! We're hot tonight. We are hot tonight. Somebody said to calm down. I can't calm down. I mean, I'm going to let you stay over here. I'm not going to calm down. Did we have enough of media collusion? Do we have enough of the media collusion? I have to talk about other stuff. I'm furious about the media collusion because they just ignore it. I'm looking at you, Brian Stelter. You're supposed to be covering the media and you ignore this stuff. You ignored when your outlet had Me Too allegations and people being fired and inappropriate relationships within the hierarchy. You just ignore that sort of stuff. So I absolutely believe Mr. Potato Head over there, or is it just Potato Head? Because you can't have a gender assigned with that. I guess it's just Potato Head. Let's see. You can't bring up any of the times that you've been wrong over and over. Jake Tapper has on the flip-flopper himself recently, who came out of witness protection and said, there's other variants out there. We may have to go back into lockdown. Jake Tapper, Mr. Journalist, Mr. Objective Journalist, didn't say, Doctor, we've had study after study that has shown that lockdowns has done nothing. Can you please substantiate for me the assertion you just made? Please tell to me why you just said the word lockdown. Doesn't do it. I'm absolutely sick of the media blatantly being a part of the Democrat Party and then saying things like right-wing media machine has perpetuated a false narrative about this laptop. You did nothing to debunk it other than show a letter signed by 50 former Intel officials who had no access to the information, but they said, not real. Keith Wilson, love to see you here, buddy. With the House and the Senate, we could prosecute the DOJ and the FBI. So there's things you can do to hold the DOJ and the FBI accountable independently and do investigations. You get the Attorney General in there. They can start taking a look at the processes that are there. The Attorney General is supposed to be able to do that. We definitely need to do that sort of stuff. Okay, I spent a lot of time on that. We only got 9 minutes left, so let's talk about something else. I'm not done with that. I'm not done with that. If you guys, it's Purple Pen Night. Did I mention it was Purple Pen Night? When it's Purple Pen Night, it's a real night. It's Purple Pen Night. If you guys follow me over here on the TikTok, you can get a lot more of this. Over on Truth Social, Juan, you got a graphic up for that yet? On Truth Social, 2 Cent, that's where I really let it fly. You all need to be over there with me. We did a giveaway recently. We'll do another one. I really let it fly over there, and I have a lot of fun. Truth Social at 2 Cent over there. Can we talk Russia for a moment? Can we talk Russia-Ukraine for a moment? I haven't talked much about this. I think a lot of you see that, and I am staying away from it for a lot of reasons. It's horrible what's happening over there, and what is happening over there is clouded in propaganda and lies, and I don't think anybody on here, anybody over here, I don't think anybody has a clue what's really happening over there, and that's a massive problem. I don't know what to trust coming out of that. I don't know what not to trust coming out of that. Here's what I do know. The Biden approach was, I don't want to put sanctions on Putin for his current movements because that would provoke him to make further movements. They made the argument, well, if I'm already in trouble, why don't I just go ahead and do the thing anyway? Because you don't give them the full level of the force of what you have. You give them a part and say, back up, and I'll pull this down. Go further and I'll go to here. Okay, now you're here, back up and I'll pull it back, and so on. But instead, they said that would provocate Putin. But then doesn't it also just put Putin in a position to be like, how far can I go? Oh, I just fell over the border. I'm here now. And now you want to slap on sanctions. A little bit too late. They're already there. They are already there. Let's go after one of the talking points I've heard recently, which was Putin didn't have to invade Ukraine under Trump because Putin was getting what he wanted out of NATO. What? So he wasn't invading Ukraine because he was getting what he wanted out of NATO because Trump was sowing discord inside of NATO? Trump went to NATO and said, spend your fair share. You told us it would be 3% of your GDP. You, Germany, it's 1.5. You, France, it's 1.2, whatever it was. He called them all out in the carpet and said, you said you would spend this amount of your GDP and you're not. And we're having to spend more to cover for you. I keep having to send missiles over here for you. And this person tried, it was on Bill Maher, you can look it up. He was making the argument that it was because of Trump sowing discord that Putin was actually getting what he wanted and therefore didn't need to invade Ukraine. Well, one of those tactics resulted in war and one didn't result in war. Maybe we could just make Putin feel like he's getting what he wants by having a president talk smack about his allies, because in that version, in that timeline, no war. Do we like no war? I like no war. Do we like no war, or do we like the let's play passive and war? Because I think we should do the war one. That one seems a lot better. Let's do the war one. I can't believe you guys got a free show over here. You can do me a favor. Go on over to YouTube. Here's my 2 cents. Give me a subscribe over there. I love all of you, especially you people over here. His idea was to not provoke. And we're here now. We're in now. And in now there's war. I don't know what to trust out of there. People are saying some things out loud that I've also said. You have like millions and millions of phones over there. They got Starlink going, and we can't get any live local video of what's going on. You see something about a hospital, then it turns out it's from a couple of years ago. You see the president in a trench, and that's from a couple of years ago. And you see a kid that was bombed in Syria, and then the same picture was used there. And nobody knows. Let's just be honest. Unless you're actually read in and you're getting daily briefings on this sort of stuff, you don't know what's going on over there. I know war is bad. I know Putin is a dictator. I know Putin is perpetuating a war on civilians, which is horrifically disgusting. You go after military. You don't go after civilians. I'm furious about this. I am not with Putin. I'm sick of this. The Republicans are the party of Putin. Trump was a puppet. Yes, Trump was such a puppet that he put more sanctions on Putin that Biden then immediately lifted. Biden put the pipeline in place, Nord Stream 2, but took away the Keystone XL pipeline over here. But Trump was the puppet. You have war under Biden, but no war under Trump. But Trump was the puppet. Yes, exactly. We are not even going to get to that damn laptop. Well, we did talk the laptop, but I wanted to talk specifically about what was on it. Next time, you guys have to come back. I have avoided the Russia-Ukraine because I don't know what to trust coming out of it. I will absolutely firmly stand on Putin as a dictator who has invaded his neighbor. He is absolutely horrible. And let me come to you from this one. And I think Juan, I think you'll agree with me. Any of the veterans here, if you're a veteran here or over here, listen to me. They are being ordered to attack civilians. And in our military, we are to follow the lawful orders of the officers assigned above us. Juan, are you attacking civilians? I ain't. Arrest me. I'm dead serious. If anybody knows me, arrest me. You're telling my mission is to go after a theater or is to go after a hospital, and I don't have the intel that shows me that there's actual bad guys, because sometimes what they'll do is they'll put command and control inside of a hospital and they'll do stuff like that. And you have to be able to discern from there if you're actually going after civilians or if you're going after a military target. If I'm told specifically you're attacking civilians, arrest me. Arrest me right now. I ain't going. And if I'm in charge of people, they ain't going either. And if you have to take me out to put me in jail or whatever it is you have to do, I ain't going. Thanks, Brew. I appreciate you being here. Arrest me. If you're a veteran over here, let me know. I ain't attacking civilians. I don't care what's been told to me, how good and virtuous this is. Man, we're out of time. Wow, where did it go? Juan, who's up next after me, Juan? I think we have Queso. Nobody? It's just me. You want to go a little longer? We're going to go a little longer. We're going to go a little longer. I've been specifically staying away from Ukraine, Russia. I have to say it again. I need everybody to understand. Putin is a dictator. Putin is absolutely a horrific person of my generation, probably one of the worst. It's disgusting. What is the U.S. supposed to do about it now? Folks, a little bit of a civics lesson coming here. We don't have any treaties with Ukraine. So what is our responsibility? We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't. We weren't here under Trump. I can say after 4 years under Trump, we wouldn't be here if Trump was still in office. But we are here now. I got to take you guys back to the 90s. Back in the 90s, when the USSR broke up, Ukraine broke off separately from what was formerly the USSR, found themselves with 4 nuclear weapons. So you had the West, like us, that said, you want to give us those nukes? And you had the Russians going, you want to give up those nukes? And both sides said, should you be attacked, you have assurances from us, both the West, to include the United States, and Russia, you have our assurances that you will get our defense. Well, if Russia then attacks you, of course, you're not going to get any defense from them. And then when you have the West going, well, you're not NATO. So they're not wrong, but we gave them these assurances. Okay, let's pull the thread a little bit. Are we fulfilling those assurances by sending in the weapons? If we're sending in weapons, are we actively participating in the war? Do we send in Stingers and Javelins and weapons and ammo? Do we send in the jets? I actually think the jets is a political football, which is an absolute joke. If you don't have pilots that are trained on these things, and supposedly they both fly MiG-29s, okay, do you have the parts? Do you have the parts to keep these things flying? Do you have the mechanics to keep these things flying? You turn these things off, they don't always turn back on. Am I right, Juan? How many times have you done an engines running crew change because you didn't want to turn off the plane because it's going to come up with a fault, and if that fault comes on, the mission's over. But if you leave it on and we just do a crew change, we can go fly again. Do they have the logistics? Do they have the pilots? Do they have the means to fly these things? I don't think they do. I think this is a political football just to try to make it look like one side is being more active or that side isn't being active enough. And everyone is all over the place on this. You have the right arguing with the right, the left arguing with the left. Everybody's arguing all over the place. If we come to, we shouldn't be here, but we are, okay. Now what's the problem? What's our role in the problem? Nobody wants this to spill forward into another country, let alone a NATO country. Of course, I don't want this war here right now. It's disgusting. I want it over. I want it over right now. We have to look at would he be emboldened to then push this weak and feckless administration, push them a little harder, and say, well, maybe I'll poke Poland. I'll just poke them a little bit, just a little bit. Oh, you didn't do anything. Okay. Oh, I fell over into Poland. I'm in Poland now. Okay. And then, okay, maybe I'll just go a little further. Maybe if my geography is good enough, you got, I think Slovakia's over there. You got Macedonia's over there. Come on, this is pretty good for an American. I mean, did you just keep poking a little bit? Did you keep poking a little bit? So we have to ensure that Russia knows that you can't do anything when it comes to NATO. We've abandoned our assurances with Ukraine. Now, really, what are we supposed to do? I personally am for giving them weapons, giving them, things like Stingers and the Javelins. Stingers are for surface to air to take out their aircraft. Very good against helicopters, especially since they're so slow. And then the Javelins are extremely good against armor, extremely good. And of course, I mean, we're talking about these things. It's just point and pull the trigger, and it goes and it finds it itself. It's just going to do it on its own. These are extremely effective. I'm not for troops going forward. That's not our role here. I'm actually for us openly saying we're sending them weapons. I'm for Poland saying it, England saying it, France saying it, because you had these proxy wars. For example, we did it to the Russians in Afghanistan. We sent the Mujahideen, which later became Al-Qaeda, just so you guys know this. But we sent the Mujahideen ammunition, guns, gave them trainings to fight the Russians to keep them bogged down in a quagmire, as they called it. Why? Because the Russians had done the same thing to us in Vietnam. They were giving aircraft training, logistics to the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong to keep us bogged down in a quagmire, which, by the way, that war wasn't ours when it first started. Another civics history lesson for you. That was the French war. And then they bailed out and we stayed there and fought the damn war. It wasn't even our war. Anyway, and they did the same thing to us in Korea, and it involved China. China was doing these proxy wars. I am all for us going, yes, we're helping. We are helping because it's more pressure that way. We're helping. Poland is helping. England is helping. France is helping. We're all helping. We're not going to fight this war, but we're going to give them intel. We're going to give them weapons. We're going to give them logistics. We're going to give them training. And this isn't costing Ukraine the dollars, even though we're supposedly giving them money. But apparently we've released like a 40th of the money that we said we were going to. It's something that hasn't even gotten over there. I'm talking on my butt. That's not a swear. A little bit here. Point I'm making is I like us openly saying we're helping them. We're not secretly doing. We're helping them, and we're going to keep helping them. This needs to stop. How does it stop? How does it stop? Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, is saying, I ain't taking anything less than you fully leaving. Nothing. And Putin is saying, I'm not taking anything less than you leaving because you belong to us. How does it end? How does this end? If you had some strong leadership from the West, perhaps from the United States. I'm sorry, Wendy, I've been ignoring you. The unspoken intention of sanctions is to pressure the Russian citizens into a coup. Understood. I don't think that the Russian citizens have the means to overthrow their government. They're throwing people by the thousands into prison for what we would call protest, and they're just instantly being thrown in prison. The sanctions aren't going to cause people to starve so much that they're going to rise up. I don't think that's going to work. I just don't. So how do we get out of this? What is out of this? Strong leadership helps you get out of this. Macron from France, he's making phone calls. I think Johnson, Erdogan, if I'm saying the name correctly, from Turkey, they're all making calls. Everyone's trying to broker peace, and you have Biden in Delaware riding his bike. This is what we have. And he's uniting the world. He's uniting the world. Yeah, in laughter at us, the biggest kid on the block, just sitting there going, not my monkey, not my problem. Or as my friend says, not my circus, not my monkey. This is what we're dealing with here. What is out? Tell me over here. What is out? I gave you guys a free show. If you're over here, tell me what is out. Until then, we have to continue to support the Ukraine people. I'm not necessarily happy with that government. I think there's a lot of corruption over there. I think we saw that with a certain family that was making money off of businesses over there. I think there's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of corruption in our country. There's all kinds of crap we don't know about. I got to get the second swearing here. I calmed down a little bit, Juan. You're going to get away with this. You're going to get away with this. Because I respect you, buddy. We're going to go with the one. All right. We went over. We had a good time. I'm going to be honest here. I don't have the way out on this. I need some more time to digest this. I'd love to talk with some folks and see what they think we need to do. I do support us openly supporting this. and giving them the weapons and saying the West is unified against you. We are not in a treaty, but I can help these folks out, and I've got lots and lots of resources, and I'll just keep giving it to them. I do support that. That might get us to a point where they come to the table and they have to negotiate and end this thing. Juan, do we have any plugs we want to do today? We want to do a little My Pillow. You got the graphic up for us? I'll give you some plugs for me. I'd love to see you guys. There it is, My Pillow. Shoot on over to mypillow.com. There's the man, Mike Lindell. I've actually met him. Super nice guy. Use the code RAM, RAM, Romeo Alpha Mike. I can speak. I swear to you, I used to talk on the radio. I really used to do this. Romeo Alpha Mike for the super cool types, those that can actually use the phonetic alphabet. Go on over there. We have lots of deals that you get for using that promo code. It helps us out a lot too. And I look super cool that we have a sponsor. That's super cool. I have a My Pillow. I have My Pillow sheets. We love them. Make sure you use that. Get Mr. Lindell out of here. We're going to go that way. Get Mr. Lindell out of here. I do love him. Follow me on Truth 2 Cent over there, because that's my real name. I would love to see you guys on the TikTok, and I don't really use Instagram, so who cares about that one? We got some great content coming up for you. Stick around. I love all of you. Have a good night.